Sikkim in the eastern Himalayas. A unique experiment is underway in this small Indian state. Agriculture here is 100% organic. Synthetic pesticides and fertilizers are banned.
We are not only taking everything from the environment, but we are giving something back to the environment.
In Germany, meanwhile, organic farming remains a niche market. Why is it still not mainstream? Is Sikkim an example for other countries to follow? The authorities in Sikkim are strict. Conventionally farmed fruits and vegetables are forbidden, so they're being destroyed. Smugglers were looking to sell this produce at a market in Gangtok, the state capital. The smugglers were caught by Pasang Tamang, who's employed by the government as a food control officer.
So we are doing something good for our earth. That's why we should not feel sad, because we are giving examples to the whole world that this is not good for health, this is not good for environment, so we are destroying all these things.
Fresh produce is destroyed on a regular basis in Sikkim. With its policy, the regional government is taking a firm stance against global farming practices that rely heavily on chemical fertilizers and pesticides. In 2016, Sikkim became the world's first 100% organic state. Nestled in the eastern Himalayas, Sikkim covers 7,000 square kilometers, roughly half the size of the German state of Thüringen. The mile-high city of Gangtok is its capital. Sikkim might be part of India, but in terms of agricultural policy, it's forged its own path for the last 3 years. Produce available to its nearly 700,000 inhabitants is organic only.
I go for organic food because for my kids and for myself. It's especially for health, you know? Health, and it's especially good for kids, for us. And I go for organic food, not pesticides food.
Organic farming expert Bernhard Geyer has traveled to Sikkim on behalf of several international organizations for sustainability. He's here to see if its agriculture really is 100% organic, and if it is, how has the state managed it? His first impressions are positive.
I've just tried a pepper. It's fiery hot, has a real bite, exactly how a pepper should be. The carrots are very fresh. You can tell they were picked just yesterday. It's a pleasure to see how fresh everything is. What good quality. The papayas are excellent. You just want to cut them open and dig in. That's how organic should be. Delicious-looking produce with great flavor. For me, that's organic.
Geyer has been tasked with deciding if Sikkim should be nominated for a prestigious international award for policies promoting agroecology. He'll spend a week here as a guest from Germany, a country seen in Sikkim as highly progressive in terms of organic farming. Georg Meyerhofer runs a conventional farm near Passau in southern Germany. Approximately 60% of his earnings come from crops used for biogas. He wants to farm sustainably and avoid using pesticides, but he doesn't believe that a complete switch to organic is necessary.
Both types of farming produce healthy crops that will help you live to 100. The analytics we use are very precise. These days, we can identify even the slightest residue. So the idea that conventional farming has adverse effects on people's health, I'm very skeptical.
Despite his reservations, Georg Meyerhofer experiments with organic practices now and then. This year, he did not use any insecticide on the rapeseed he grows for human consumption. Today, he wants to see if that's made a difference.
Also was man hier sieht, ist ein Befall.
What we're seeing here is an infestation of rape stem weevil. For me as a farmer, it's always very hard to gauge exactly what the pesticide does. You don't know exactly what effect it's had. But I like to try new things out. And as a beekeeper, I wanted to see if doing without pesticides is a viable option. It's all down to the harvest. Given the infestation we're seeing here, it's not looking promising.
The switch to organic farming is a time-consuming process and calls for a lot of patience. Crops and soil need to adjust after years of conventional farming. Meyerhofer's experiment with rapeseed has cost him 25% of his usual yield. Next year, he'll go back to spraying his crops. With conventional farming, crop losses aren't factored into the business model. In order to maximize profits, farmers need to be an organized and unanimous group. It's German Farmers' Day in Wiesbaden, the annual conference of the German Farmers Association. The event demonstrates how much of farming in Germany works. It's a large-scale industry led by risk-averse interest groups. The delegates insist they're open-minded about organic farming, but they're also quick to stress that it's a tricky market.
If we don't find sellers, or the organic farming sector tells us that it prefers organic grain imported from Ukraine, then we need to take that into account. We're not operating in a vacuum. The organic market exists and it will continue to grow, but a centrally planned 100% switch to organic farming just doesn't make sense.
Judging by the mood at the Farmers' General Assembly, organic farming has little chance of flourishing. The association carefully cultivates its ties to the chemicals industry. One of the world's largest pesticide manufacturers is among the event's sponsors. And yet, among German farmers, there are many opponents of conventional methods. Here in the Altes Land region north of Hamburg, Ulrich Beckmann turned his back